Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to Unit Lost. I am Stylosa and holy hell, XCOM 2 is a hell of a game. So I was going to actually put together a review of XCOM 2 and go into massive detail on all the new systems, show absolutely everything off, but then it struck me that would be a disgusting spoiler. Like, it would spoil the game to no end. And you know what, I'm not in the business of doing that. I don't want to spoil the game because there is a big major difference with XCOM 2 compared to Enemy Within. XCOM 2 has a tangible story. There is no way I could show you elements of the game without spoiling the story. Even things like showing you new enemy types. I really don't want to do that, but I do want to give you my review of the game, although this is kind of a different review. It's more of my opinion of the game. And if you really enjoy XCOM Enemy Within, you will absolutely love XCOM 2. Let me refer you back to a couple of very famous sequels in the movie industry. So, Terminator 2, Aliens. Both of these films are vastly superior than the previous film. It's not even real. It's ridiculous. Okay, maybe some people will be like, oh no, I preferred Alien. Alien was a different film. It wasn't about Marines killing them. Whatever. XCOM 2, though, is a little bit different because there is no reason whatsoever to go back to Enemy Within. It's just, if you're a fan of Enemy Within, you will absolutely love XCOM 2. Now, Enemy Within was designed for consoles and PC. You can see that with the way the game's designed. And actually, Firaxis have come out and said, yeah, you know, we had to make concessions because we were thinking about the consoles at the time, so things like texture fidelity and all of that stuff, we have to scale that down. However, XCOM 2 it doesn't come out on any other platform apart from PC. It is totally designed for PC. So this means all the bells and whistles are there. The control system is way better because it's designed for mouse and keyboard now completely. There's no controller. Why would you use a controller to play this game? It's a turn-based strategy game. A controller? Why are you having a laugh? It's not even there. It's crazy. Now, I would like to go into detail on all of the stuff, like talking about the new enemy types, talking about the actual story in the game, which, by the way, is really good. But I don't want to do that because it's going to spoil the game. So like I said, this is a weird video. It's like I wanted to make a review, but I don't want to review the game because it will majorly spoil the game for anybody who wants to pick it up. Now you could probably say, well, Star, yeah, a review of the game should be a review, talking about all of its different mechanics and showing things off. I would like to talk about all of the mechanics, but a lot of the mechanics actually link in with the story, and so it would spoil the game. And I don't really want to spoil the game. I think this entire video is, I just want to get the message out there that if you enjoy XCOM Enemy Within, you should buy XCOM 2 because there is no reason why you will ever play Enemy Within ever again. Not even with the... You might be sitting there thinking, well, Sty, you know, I want to play it with the Long War mod. Well, Long War Studios is developing a Long War mod for XCOM 2 right now. Hell, that might even be available when the game launches. We don't even know. But we know they are working on stuff. I've seen things like co-op mods. I mean, a co-op mod for XCOM... Are you a co-op mod? And apparently the way how this is going to work is your friends from your Steam friends list can just join in and take control of one soldier. So, I mean, that is insane. So what we've got is a game that is just, it is refined. This is modern XCOM. It's not old school XCOM, much like how Enemy Within and the XCOM before that were not old school XCOM. They were dumbed down, okay? It's not Xenonauts, which is very similar to old school XCOM. If that's the kind of experience you're looking for, then I recommend you pick up Xenonauts. If you can get past the graphics, which are very simplistic, the game itself is very similar to the original XCOM. And of course, Xenonauts 2 is being developed as well. However, if you want a modern take on XCOM, if you want a game with all of the bells and whistles, so heavy customization, you can customize your soldiers to no end. You can customize your weapons. You get weapon attachments. There is loot in the game. When you kill enemy combatants, they can drop loot, which you can then decide, should I go and loot that? Maybe I will, but it's a bit risky. I might be out in the open. But then the loot, of course, decays, so you have to make a decision fast. There's so, like... I mean, that's only one little thing, and that's not a spoiler because everybody knows there's customization of the weapons and all of that stuff. It is just a fantastic game. I mean, I'd like to talk a little bit about the atmosphere of the game because it's very different to Enemy Within. Now, there's a story, so there is a point to what you are doing. Okay, there was a point to what you were doing in Enemy Within. You repel the enemy invasion, that was the point. the aliens are coming, we need to stop what they're doing. You'd respond to alien abductions, you'd respond to terror attacks. That was pretty much it. There were a couple of story missions, so when your base got attacked, when you had to go and find the aliens' base and then build certain items and stuff to then eventually get up to kill the boss alien, if you know, I can really dumb it down. XCOM 2 though, every single mission has a point to it. And you end up in situations where you have to decide what mission you're going to do, because there'll be an option. It'll be, okay, here's 3 missions. If you complete this mission, then the aliens won't do this. But if you complete this mission, then they won't do this. But you don't have the resources to do every single mission, because you're not XCOM of old. You're not this internationally funded organisation with all the power of all the world's governments combined, provided they stay in the XCOM project. You're basically insurgents. You're almost terrorists, if you want to look at it that way. You have minimal equipment. You have to scrounge for equipment. I mean, hell, you're operating in a stolen alien supply ship, which is called the Avengers. So the XCOM base is mobile now. Well, what this means is you need to fly around the globe doing different things and making sure the resistance is okay. And you get tons of different types of missions. Now, I don't consider these to be spoilers as such, because I'm pretty sure there's already coverage out there on YouTube on these types of missions. Well, one of the mission types you get is a retaliation mission, where the aliens launch retaliatory strikes against resistance outposts. So the aliens are always trying to find out where the resistance is. When they find them, they hit them. Now this is like a terror mission. Massive enemy force lands, and you've got to get in there and save as many of the resistance fighters as you can. So that's only one type, but that could happen at any time. And then there's all kinds of different things going on the map. You have to manage your engineers, your scientists. You can allocate them to different facilities within the ship to do different things. It's great. Honestly, it is great. I mean, it's like I'm waxing lyrical about it, but I cannot stress to you how much better this game is than Enemy Within. I know Enemy Within has a massive following, yeah? There's a load of people out there who love that game. You will absolutely fucking love XCOM 2. There is no doubt about this. The game, as far as performance goes, is fine. It isn't buggy. Well, okay, the only bug that I've really noticed is the action camera. So when you go to take a shot, the camera zooms down, doesn't it, onto your soldier, or, you know, if Overwatch triggers or the aliens are detected or whatever. Sometimes, you know, because the maps are all randomly generated, which actually is a big point, they're not set map designs. There might be a tree in the way, so you might not see the soldier. But beyond that, I've not seen any major problem that's destroyed the game. In fact, I can't even recall any problems beyond that, really. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of a first for Firaxis. I mean, Civ 5 was a little bit buggy when that came out, and other games they've made have not been that great on launch, but this feels like a great product straight away. It looks really nice. You can tell it's made for PC. Everything is high fidelity, even down to the amount you can zoom the camera out. You can zoom out as far as you like. Well, not as far as you like, but you can zoom out so you can see pretty much most of the area, so your soldiers look really small on the map. That's great, because that means you've got more of an idea of what's going on. The mouse responds way better, so when you're trying to look where to move your soldiers around, it doesn't like lag or snap or any of that. You can quickly go around, even extending to things like when you throw grenades. It was always very difficult to throw grenades in Enemy Within because it might snap to the higher level, to the lower level, and it was a right piss around. In this, it's much better. I'm not saying it's perfect, there's still some issues, but it's much smoother. Things like moving the map around as well, it's much faster. When the enemies take a turn, it's really quick. It's not dead slow. I mean, Enemy Within sometimes could take a fairly long time to process the turn. This is like instant. It's like the turn's over, let's go. And also, I guess, one little gameplay mechanic I can talk about, because I know you guys pretty much all know about this, is the concealment mechanic. So, on missions, not every mission, mind you, but on some missions, you have the element of surprise. Now, you would, because the aliens are the power. They are the installed... They own the planet, okay? So they're there, they've got the military, they're doing whatever they like at a facility. They don't know where you're going to attack. They don't even know where you are. So if you turn up, they're just on guard. You know, what's going on? Where's XCOM? This adds a completely different dynamic to the game. I mean, it's such a simple thing, but it's so good, because you can set up these crazy ambushes. I mean, a very favourite thing of mine to do is get all my soldiers in a position so they do have shots at the group of aliens I want to take out. I won't mention any alien names as such, but there will be ones that I will prioritise over other targets, let's say. and then I'll make sure I have a rocket available or a grenade or something, and I'll instigate the fight by throwing a rocket in or firing a grenade. And as soon as that hits, the aliens then obviously move because they're like, oh my god, the whole squad gets detected. But as they start running for cover, all of your Overwatch starts firing off, and it's such a powerful thing. You can just annihilate the aliens dead quick doing that, but it's really hard to set up because you might walk around the corner and the aliens spot you, and in which case your plans have gone to shit, and then you have to try and like recover the mission. But you always feel like you're fighting against the odds. I mean, another thing I can kind of go into detail on is the way the aliens play in the game. In Enemy Within, sectoids were just garbage. When you see the sectoid, it was just like, well, it was the worst enemy in the game. Okay, they had mental power, and as the game went on, you got the fancy red sectoids and whatever, and they were a little bit stronger. But a sectoid or a muton, it would be like, Jesus Christ, a muton would be a priority target, surely, all day of the week. However, XCOM 2 is not like that, because the sectoid is massively powerful. In fact, every alien is massively powerful. You do have the Advent. Now, you guys have seen the Advent, the human-style alien troops. They're like the cannon fodder. But the way the aliens spawn is, it's almost like they're an anti-squad. Like, you've got your guys from XCOM, and you detect an alien. It's not just on its own. It'll be in a pod. Okay, that's the same as an Enemy Within. But it's more of like a... like an anti-XCOM. It's like the aliens have got their own type of squad there. They might have a sectoid and a couple of Advent guys, or another alien with another alien and a guy, or something else like that. And they all move into cover and they work together. And it becomes a game of like, you really have to prioritize what you can do, but you always feel like the odds are against you. Now, I've been playing this on Legend difficulty, which is the most difficult you can play the game on. In terms of that, I think it is still a difficult game. I think it was more difficult because I didn't actually know what was going on. You know, I could get to a point where I'd meet an alien, and the alien would do something to me I totally didn't expect, and I'd lose 2 or even 3 soldiers as a result. Whereas now I know what they're going to do, so I can react a little bit better to what's going on. It feels... I don't think it feels more difficult than Enemy Within, but I think what you actually have is you feel like you're more in control of what's going on. Now, you're kind of not, because the odds are against you, but you almost like you've got a bigger arsenal to work with, so you can, there are different gameplay sort of tactics you can come up with, sort of get out of situations. And of course you've got things like your soldiers can become unconscious, so they can actually get knocked out by different types of enemy attacks. Now, if that happens, there are ways you can revive them, but let's say you don't have a revive available to bring them. Well, it's not even a revive, it's a completely different thing altogether, but it is like a revive. But obviously a revive would be if they were down through being shot to shit, not just unconscious because they've been bashed over the head with a kosh or whatever the hell's happened. But you can run up to them and pick them up, and then you can escape out of the zone with them and go back to the sky range, which, by the way, you can change in some missions where the sky range drop zone is. So you can call it in. You don't have to go back to the start of the mission. It's great. I mean, I can't give the game enough praise, really. It's a fantastic game. I'm going to leave this video at that, though, because I wanted this to be a spoiler-free review, but it's more of like it is a review. It's my thoughts after playing the game for 20 or so hours, and it's immense. Which, by the way, I've not completed the game. I've got to... I feel as if I'm around about halfway through. Now, like I said, I'm playing it on a harder difficulty, so things are elongated, I suppose, in terms of the time frame involved with progressing the missions and stuff and progressing the story. But it's the best game I've played so far all year. I think it's the best planetary defense style game that's out at the moment. I do have a soft spot for Xenonauts. I like the complexity that offers. But XCOM 2 is just something else. It's such a good time playing the game, and you get this real feeling of you're off on a mission. You are mankind's last hope, and you've got to pull something out of the bag, because you're not going in with the best technology. You're not going in with all the defensive, with all the resources the world's got to offer. It's just you and a couple of guys in the Avenger, and you've got to try and somehow save the world. It's ridiculous, guys. Listen, I've been Stylosa. This is Unit Lost. If you enjoy XCOM 2 or any content like that, then please subscribe to the channel and go and buy XCOM 2 as well, because it's such a beautiful game. Follow me on Twitter as well, which is @UnitLostGaming. And ladies and gentlemen, I will catch you on the next one. Toodaloo.